Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Snipperclips Cut It Out Together for the Nintendo Switch. This title was sent to me by Nintendo so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it, and the Nintendo Switch console was also sent by Nintendo for review purposes. Now then, let's get this started. So Snipperclips is one of those titles that I told you guys about when I went to the Nintendo Switch event in Portugal, where me and Globku went, and we had like a live stream that we did afterwards, and we told you guys all about Snipperclips, how it felt like it was kind of a breath of fresh air, and something that we hadn't really seen before, and it was very surprising. However, this time around I've gotten a lot more time with the game. I've played with a friend of mine who came over for the specific purpose of me playing both this and 1-2 Switch, because those are games that just require 2 players locally. And I kind of feel that you can't really do a video expressing an opinion on it without having that co-op experience. So we did that, and we played through all of the puzzles in the first area of the game, which is like the notepad area, I think. And then we went into some of the puzzles of the second area, which is the retro area as well, just to get an idea of how the concept would evolve. So I have a pretty good idea of a lot of the puzzles, but I never really finished it, which is why I don't call this particular video a review. So let's start things off with the visuals. How does the game look visually? So this is a 2D game, but let me tell you, the visuals have so much charm to them that I really like them. I think they work really well for the puzzle designs, because most of the game is essentially a big physics puzzle where you have to work together with your friend. You have to cut each other, and that sounds kind of emo, but what I mean is you have to cut your little characters. And as you cut them, your characters will take on different shapes, which will allow you to do different functions and solve puzzles in different ways. And there's more than one solution to the puzzles. It's all about your creativity and the way that you decide to tackle on each puzzle. And sometimes even the struggle of coordinating with your friend in order to solve the puzzles that are presented to you. But as I was saying, I was talking about the visuals, and in my opinion, the visuals for this game are actually really well done. They enable you to visualize the puzzles and visualize what you can do with a very nice simplicity, but at the end of the day, they could have just like done something super simple for you to solve the puzzles and be the end of it. But no, they added an additional layer on top of it, which they actually made your characters, which are basically like 2 objects with a rounded end. They actually made faces for your characters who actually have eyeballs, noses, mouth, and what they've done with that, in my opinion, just brings so much charm to this game that it is a big part of why I like it so much. The expressions the characters make whenever they are cutting each other. And again, just bear in mind, when I say cutting each other, I'm not talking about in an emo way. I'm talking about in the way that you can solve puzzles. You have to actually cut these characters to assume different forms and shapes. But as I was saying, as the characters are cutting each other, as the characters are picking up objects or jumping on top of each other and doing different activities throughout the world, even just turning your characters around using the bumper buttons on the Joy-Cons, the characters are always doing some kind of expression, which it adds this, again, I keep saying it, but it adds this degree of charm that I just really like. And it kept bringing laughs to the experience. So me and my friend, we were just constantly laughing as the characters were doing all kinds of crazy things. Like sometimes my friend would just like crouch down because the character would be like squinting his eyes and going like, ee! And it's just like really fun. So that aspect of it, it's a great experience from a visual standpoint, is all I can really say. And the facial expressions really bring the whole experience together in a way that if you didn't have that, I kind of feel like it would be a much lesser good experience, if that even makes sense. Let's talk about the sounds. Sounds are pretty simple to get the point across. They work fine, but more importantly than sounds, I think that the soundtrack actually is really good for this type of game. And I think that as you are playing through it, you're going to understand what I'm talking about, because it's a nice music that is not going to stress you out as you're trying to figure out a puzzle, but at the same time, it's just something cool to listen to while you are solving those puzzles. So I don't know, I just felt that it worked really great. So in terms of visuals and sounds, this game looks and sounds really good, in my opinion. So now let's talk about the actual puzzle gameplay. The puzzle gameplay, as I said, consists of mostly solving physics puzzles. And how should I put this? It's actually fun struggling with a friend because you have to coordinate each other in order to do things. And it's not as easy as you might think. And some people might wonder, why doesn't this game have online multiplayer? It's like without proper voice chat, it's not even just about the voice chat. It is the experience of you being next to someone else and actually pointing to the screen and saying, look, this is what we need to get. And this is what we need to do to get it. I'm going to cut you like this, and actually just pointing at the screen and being able to tell them, I'm going to do this thing. It does so much more for the experience than it would have done if it was online. And again, this is something that Nintendo is doing. They're trying to kind of bring back couch co-op with this and other titles that they're working on. And I have to say, this particular game, I enjoyed that aspect of it greatly. However, it's like, even though the game is superbly fun and all that, it's not like this game is perfect. It does have a couple of things to it, which is, number one, if you don't have any friends, or if you don't have friends that you can regularly play with, this game is not great when you're playing in single player. So I played it today just for the purpose of, experimenting it in single player. And the way it works is right now you guys are watching some footage of me playing with my friend, which is why you guys are seeing both of our characters move simultaneously. And it's like that mode, super fun. In single player, what happens is basically you control one character, then you press one button and you switch and you control the other character. So you can do the cuts, you can do all these other things, but ultimately without the silly banter that you have with your friends, or at least that I was having with my friend as we were playing this, and the chaos element of us trying to work together, it became a much more mechanical experience where I kind of felt like I was just going through the motions. I was like, okay, I figured out this puzzle. Here's what I got to do. I got to cut this part like this, then do this, place this dude here, place this dude there, and then just execute. Whereas, the chaos element of trying to discuss this with a friend and them giving their own opinions, because, everyone wants to say, no, here's how we're going to do it. No, this is the way we do it. And that, I kind of feel, is the magic of this game. And interestingly enough, I actually didn't know that this game supports up to 4 players. Yes, that's right. You can actually play with 4 players. I mean, you're going to have to get another set of Joy-Cons. But you can actually play with 4 players in party mode. They have specific puzzles for that as well. And those work just fine, just like the 2-player puzzles, except usually you will have characters in different locations and you will have to somehow work together to pursue a different objective in a physics puzzle. And what kind of objectives are those, you guys might wonder? Well, sometimes it's managing to take a pencil up to a pencil sharpener. Other times it's grabbing a key and taking it to a key lock. Other times it's grabbing a ball and shooting a hoop. I've even had to shoot a hoop with a bowling ball at one point, and that was actually pretty challenging because the bowling ball is heavier than the basketball, so it doesn't bounce, and if you drop it, you can't pick it back up. You have to go and make sure that it drops again, and basically it's different things. So they really do the physics puzzles well, and it works really great, again, in a co-op or in a party environment with up to 1 to 4 players, and that is where this game really, really shines. In the single player mode, I have to say, like I said, I didn't have that much fun with it. And ultimately, there's also something else that concerns me, which is how long it takes for the novelty to wear off, because I noticed that I was personally more curious to keep on playing this, whereas my friend, I think past the 30-minute mark, I think I kind of lost him there, because he was just like, oh, dude, let's just go play something else. And I was like, oh, really? You tired? So I guess it's not going to appeal to everyone. But then again, if you do enjoy the gameplay that you're watching and you have someone that you regularly play games with, I highly recommend Snipperclips. Just a very good experience all around. But again, if you are playing by yourself, this is not the game that you want to be playing in single player. Another really good thing about this title is also that it has a very low barrier of entry, which is pretty much, you can explain the mechanics of this to anyone, even if they're not a gamer. Like, you can explain the mechanics of this to your mom or your dad or your cousin that does sports, and that is a good thing, because again, it kind of brings more people together around to this medium that we all enjoy of video games, and gives them like an introduction to it, in my opinion. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, what about the experience of playing with the Joy-Cons in their horizontal setting. Well, for this particular title, I didn't felt like it was a big deal. Obviously, I played with the straps on because it increases the size of the Joy-Con a little bit, and it gives you a better access to the bumpers. But I also played it a little bit without the straps, and I didn't feel like it was a big deal. Obviously, with the straps, it's more comfortable. And I personally didn't have a lot of problems. I never really felt like, oh my god, I'm struggling to use this tiny Joy-Con to control this thing. I didn't feel that at all. Now, this could be just me, but personally, I didn't feel that particular issue with it. And it was just good fun, you know? But then again, this is a very simple game, so I really don't know what else I can really say about it. I mean, if you guys are watching the gameplay in the background, you guys can probably tell what this game is about and what you're going to be doing and whether or not it is the kind of game that you enjoy or not. Personally, I enjoy it a great deal, but only if I'm playing with someone else, because like I said, playing by yourself is just not as good as playing with two players. So that is my personal take on Snipperclips. If you have someone to play it with, it's a ton of fun. If not, then I don't know, maybe you should hold off. That's my opinion. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe if you are new. And thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.